Good morning, everybody, and happy July. We're halfway between, more or less, what would be Canada Day, which was yesterday, where they celebrate their July, their celebration of their country, and the 4th of July, which is us celebrating our country. So we're somewhere there in the middle. And and we are also going to be celebrating a shift in our podcast look. So don't be real surprised when it looks super different. You're like, is that the same podcast? Yes, we've gotten out of our formal, I'm talking into an old school microphone, and we have the same picture in the same way, time after time after time. And instead, we took the topic of the week and highlighted it. So, for instance, I think the first one coming up is about hydration and whether or not you get the same hydration. What about hydration when it comes to dementia? So we're talking about hydration in human beings, which is something we should be talking about this weekend, apparently, but it's going to look real different. We definitely have the episode number on it, but we also are giving you more information about what's in this podcast. So, for those of you who have never done our podcast, they broadcast on Friday morning, and then they're available after that. But we do put them out on Fridays. And this one is kicking it off for July. And from now on, we're going to try, boom, let's give you a picture of what's in it. And it looks a little different. I'm still on there, but it's the real me and it's the real Greg. And we're still doing our conversations. And we usually get a little radical out there. Sometimes I step up on a soapbox and sometimes I don't, but you know. And Matthew, I'm sure, might give you a little preview of what that looks like in the post here. So you'll get to see it. But today we're going to talk about here is what's sort of some of the differences between the language skills of someone who's more in an emerald state, amber state, and then a ruby state. What might you notice? What are some things you pick up on? So we're going to go to Accepting the Challenge, which is one of our videos that we collaborated with the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina to reconfigure, redo, update, bring into the present tense, because we did it about 20 years ago. But what you're going to see is language skills. And you're going to see those language skills based on language loss and change that happen when people live with dementia. So it is fairly G rated. So you're not going to see some of the changes that we talk about. This is a lady that Melanie's having a conversation with, and she's describing and discussing something that has happened before, an old thing. So an old familiar thing. Let's see how she does with nouns. Let's see how she does with Melanie's setup of like making biscuits. So let's see how this goes.
Taking fixing my
Show me. What do you do with a good biscuit?
I just take it and grind it up, and then I take it in. And then I put it over and look in the thing. I can't even try.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen my mama make biscuits. I know. So you roll it up.
Yeah.
And you kind of tap your fingernail, put your fingerprints on it.
That's right.
And then what do you do next?
Then I put mine in the
On a flat pan
and stick it in the oven
and stick it in the oven.
and let it get done.
And how long does it take?
What happens? So pause there. So let's put a pause there. So what you saw was a woman who really wanted to engage with Melanie, didn't she, Matthew? I mean, she was really wanting to talk to her. I mean, she was really trying.
You could tell.
It's like biscuits, yeah. And you saw her brain go like, yeah, you do things with your hands to make biscuits. And then, but she was really vague about it. And what you saw Sapphire Melanie doing was giving her more visuals, like, so you roll it and then you pat it and so she was guiding her along. And each time she'd run into a roadblock where the word she was looking for, she couldn't find it. Vocabulary wasn't there. And yet she knew what she wanted to say. You put it in the, and Melanie says, you put it on a pan. Yeah. And then she goes in the oven.
Yeah.
She got the word oven. It's like, got it. And then you wait till it's done.
and so Teepa, one of the biggest things that really stood out to me watching this too was exactly with what you're saying, the idea of her coming up with the word and the challenge with that part. But you could really see what she was trying to say with her hands, producing the visual, showing what you do with it, how much that was a little bit easier for us to see that than her necessarily to produce the word.
And so you saw Melanie picking that up. So when we talk about visual cues, verbal information, trying to get them to match, and then physically doing things, what we saw was, those combinations really worked better for her. And so that her desire to stay on target and to finish that conversation, that was emerald. Her ability to come up with vocabulary, boy, and to even do the motions accurately, not so great. But then she suddenly found oven, cha-ching.
Yeah.
You felt the penny drop for her. And so I would say she's in the ruby amber area when it comes to trying to come up with vocabulary, but to stay in the conversation, to stay in the relationship, she was there.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at another lady. This lady's name is Pearl, interestingly enough. And this is Pearl having she didn't really want to talk to me to start with. Pearl tends to avoid people. She tends to spend a lot of time walking the perimeter of the building and not engaging. She's not much of an engager. She does walk a lot. And what we're going to do is we'll pause a couple times because her language is also impaired. So let's take a listen to her.
You're going to hear things and see people do things with their mouths that are just interesting things to them. Or maybe they're saying something of note, but you aren't getting it.
Honestly, Greg, I got that that's very nice. And I don't
Here Pearl says, honestly, and later, it's very nice. But I have no idea what that means for her, so I simply go along with a sound to let her know I'm listening. In this situation, it seems Pearl is quiet, and yet watch her move her lips and mouth and touch her mouth with her hand. She seems to be seeking her own sensory input without vocalization. What has happened to the language abilities in our brain?
All right. So what'd you think about Pearl, Matthew?
Yeah. Well, and we got some explanation there before we kicked off. Noticing for her how much energy she really had to put in just to produce that speech. She was really looking away. She was trying to give us something, but it was really hard to follow. And I didn't even hear the honestly part.
Honestly,
yeah,
it was nice.
catch that part. I mean, how much energy it would take for me in that situation to really pay attention and to pick up what she is trying to say in that moment too. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and so the speed is obviously much slower, and the content is she's still trying to share something. But what she's sharing, because there's no context, I mean, I have no idea what she's talking about. I really don't. And so I'm trying to stay with her, and yet I don't have a lot to work with. Now, when she was it was actually a worship service, interestingly enough, and she was sitting there, and you can just really see her fingertips and her mouth are two very active parts of Pearl's life. And that's what she has. I've told you walking and these things. And if when she attempts to communicate with us, we don't do anything, well, she's pretty isolated. So in this case, boy, her language, that's pretty ruby. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to be able to figure out what she needs, what she wants, what she likes through words. I'm going to have to use some other skill sets to try to figure out how to support, how to help Pearl. Boy, it's a challenge. So I'm really curious, Matthew, the difference between Edna and then Pearl. What do you think a care person might struggle with?
Yeah. I think being engaged, staying engaged with the person. So that idea of what you were just bringing up, what you were talking about before, Pearl being more isolated, that happening a lot for somebody. If I, as an untrained care partner or caregiver in this case, if I'm not trained, unaware of how to engage, how to communicate, how to connect, how difficult it could be for me to do that with that person. And so then I'm more likely probably not to interact with them as much, very little, because I'm not sure what they're saying or how to connect, and how much that would increase in that moment.
Yeah.
That would be really tough.
Yeah. So we're going to go to 8.04 for our next interaction, and we're going to run into Glenn. Now, if you've watched some of our work in some of the other morning sessions, we've worked with Glenn before where I'm doing my approach to him, and then I use a big visual cue to have him stand up, because there are times when it takes two people to get Glenn out of the chair and he fights. And you'll see him just rise up out of the chair, and then I'm guiding him and we're going, and I try a back rub and he says, well, if necessary. And we go out of that room, he walks down the hall, and I leave him because we're done with the interaction. He's done with me. And he goes off down the hall. We go down and follow him around a little bit. This is about 100 feet down the hall and in a separate corridor. And I am there. You'll see I'm behind Glenn. So he's going to the end. There's an exit door there. Now, if Glenn had full visual field, and if Glenn had full capacity to take in the word exit and to figure that out, what could happen down there, Glenn?
Well, if I was Glenn, I would try to head out of that exit. I think I would be like, okay, that's the way out. Here I go.
That's the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we know about someone in Glenn's state, though, that would help us, gem state wise? We know he's Ruby at best. I mean, the best performance for Glenn most of the time is Ruby. I mean, every moment, there might be a moment of more, but typically it's Ruby. And that's pretty much what he can do right now.
Okay. Yeah. So knowing my interactions with someone who might be more in this Ruby gem state, really keeping it simple, recognizing exactly that visual field could be more monocular, potentially binocular, but probably getting more monocular. And the idea of giving time for processing, pace being super important. So that idea of when I'm giving something short and simple, I'm going to pause and I'm going to wait to give him time, because if I try to keep clicking on that mouse and try to keep getting something from Glenn, I could really freeze the system up. And then my hope for connection is going to be so much harder, especially in a situation like this. And I could even cause him to want to go away from me and head towards that exit even more.
Even more. So even though he can't see the exit sign in all likelihood, even though he really doesn't know I'm behind him at this point, we're going to see what happens in this interaction. What do I do in this interaction in my effort to re-engage with Glenn to see what happens? Because this video was really trying to figure out what happens with Glenn. I've not worked with him before. This is really one of my very first couple of interactions with him. Let's see what happens.
Of language. Hey, Glenn. Hey.
Pause,
How you doing?
if you could.
I'm doing fine.
What do you know Glenn cannot see at all?
Yeah, so binocular vision, boy, he could not pick that hand up where it was at all. You can see he's really locked in on your face. Like I can tell from this.
If I had put my hand up like this and tried to offer it as close as Glenn was to me, what could it have looked like to him in 2D vision?
Yeah, with that hand up, I mean that could look intrusive. That could look like a little too much, or
I'm going to slap him, or I'm going to do something with my hand. So I thought, well, let me try, and like, he's not paying attention at all to my hand. But what do you notice he does with his hand?
Yeah, he brought his hand up though. As soon as he saw you and he got you, he actually like opened up. Yeah.
Yeah, he opened up. He says, "I'm open to a conversation. I don't know what you want, but okay." Yeah. There's absolutely no acknowledgement or recognition. We've just talked right before this. So let's see what happens.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. You gonna go for a walk with him?
Yeah.
Sure.
You can back when you have sex starts.
All right.
And then okay, and I'll go again.
All right. We'll all go together.
Making it done.
All right. Let's go.
That's funny. No,
Okay, so pause. Okay, so what we saw is there was this phrase in there. That's that right temporal sort of like rhythm, social connectedness. We'll all go together. It's like, and back. That he used to be a caller for selling things. So he was a salesman, but he was also did some auction work.
Yeah. Okay. Auctioneer. Yeah.
An
Oh,
auctioneer.
gosh,
So auctioneers make those kind of sounds. They do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So he was willing to go for a walk. I mean, he's willing to go with me. He doesn't know what we're doing, but sure, that'll be fine. And we'll all go and we'll come, I assume, come back. Now, I don't know for sure, but I think we'll all go together and then we can come back.
Back. Yeah. There you
My
go.
best guess.
Yeah.
So we're about to see Pearl. Pearl got up and left me from the chair, and you're going to see something. I want you to listen carefully to what she says because it is interesting.
because I don't know.
Huh?
And they all taste it. You kill me.
You ready to go?
Whoa, pause. So they all take it and kill me.
And kill me. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
like-
Oh.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And we know that Pearl has really limited abilities. We also know this is back in the day, 20 years ago. We didn't know anything about Lewy body. There is a possibility that Pearl is paranoid. And one of the reasons she's always on the move, she can't settle down. She's always checking the exits. She's always walking around, not trusting anybody, not wanting to engage, is that she has paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't know that back then.
No.
We had no idea.
No.
So when she's going toward the door, I said, "You ready to go?" Like very calm. You tell her it looks like you're ready to go. Let's see what she says. Let's finish it off because she has a really fine little piece here. It's really interesting.
When you go and have a good time.
Okay. All right. I'll see you later.
Just should.
Okay. I'm going to leave it open.
Just shut it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye, sweetheart.
That's too hard. Yeah.
So our message this morning, it's not just what the other person does, it's your capacity to support that other person's communication. And when you're realizing, wow, words, woo, not going to be able to use them to appreciate what people might need, what they might want, what they might like. I've got to figure out how to give some visual data here. I'm going to have to physically figure out how to do things, but in a way, I've got to keep in mind their visual changes as well. And so this is not easy work,
No.
but it is doable. You just have to be able to, in that moment, go, all right, not language. Got it. I use what they have, but I can't count on it to get my message across.
Yeah. The importance of recognizing your own gem state, because if you're not more in that sapphire place, how hard it would be to be this.
What are you trying to say? I have no idea what you're saying. Edna, what are you talking about? We're talking about biscuits. Biscuits now. It's a very different framing and a very different way of being. So for those of you out there who are actively supporting someone who is in shifting gem states, the reason for gem states is realizing we need the right setting, we need the right cares, so both of us can do better. All right, everyone. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care with your care. Be well.
Thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.